So this video is really to appeal to the sensibilities of Chancellor Wilcox. I mean, we don't know this guy, right? I mean, the thing is, he's bringing on board this, Brian Haynes from Cal State San Bernardino, who we know was involved in a series of illicit acts, and that he defrauded the formal grievance procedure at Cal State San Bernardino. Brian Haynes defrauded the executive orders. He was actually under investigation under an executive order for his failure to investigate the formal grievances, and Brian Haynes intervenes in the investigation on him and actually suspends me based on fabricating evidence. And so this is a theme that we're going to see with Haynes. He did this with Sandra Vasquez, and Sandra Vasquez, if you look at a court order from the University of California at Santa Barbara, you'll see that Sandra Vasquez is involved in fabricating evidence at UC Santa Barbara. So had the Chancellor White done his job and WASC, Sandra Vasquez never would have been at UC Santa Barbara to disrupt so many lives. I mean, if you look at the blogs from the University of California Santa Barbara students, you're going to see that she was very deceptive and she was constantly defrauding students as the dean or the vice president of student affairs, whatever the hell she was, whatever position she had. And so by the time she leaves the Pitzer College, she has a court order. She's under a Title IX investigation. And so Chancellor Wilcox knows all this. He knows that Dr. Brian Haynes from Cal State San Bernardino is damaged goods, that he's been involved in nefarious, illicit activities, which includes obstructing student complaints and violating student rights. And so he has to make the decision whether he's going to welcome Dr. Haynes on the campus. And, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, typically you wouldn't do this. I mean, there was no way a sensible chancellor would bring this guy on campus and expose the thousands of students to Brian Haynes, who is deviant. He's got a criminal mind. I mean, he had the chance to do many things with these grievances, but he took a very dark path and subverted the entire process. So what's Wilcox going to do? I mean, the thing is that chances are the train's left the station. He's not going to do anything. He is going to talk to White. He's going to talk to Chancellor White. And White should tell him the truth. I mean, White was his predecessor. We can see White is going off to CSU because White's such a great guy. White's he's just a top administrator, and he's going to be great for CSU. But none of this is really true. And so his background and experience will reflect the institutional values of the mission of CSU. Well, if this were really true, we wouldn't have Chancellor White obstructing the investigations with the help of the state attorney general. We have this diabolical scheme. And one great example of dealing with the chancellor's office is in the beginning they were very nice and professional, exactly what you would think they would be. And in the end, they became a monster. And so after they clearly defrauded this investigation that I have laid out in this channel, part 1 through 3, as I go into the appeal, I appeal timely, 3 days before the due date. And the chancellor's office doesn't confirm the appeal, even though I sent an email asking to confirm the appeal after I file it. And then later, a vice chancellor surfaces to say that I never filed the appeal. So I had to fight him just to file the appeal. They were dishonest. So this is a great example of who we have at the helm. And so the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. And so the thing is, when you look at Chancellor Wilcox, I mean, the thing is, he's part of this crew. And is this guy ethical? Is he really going to do what's best for the University of California at Riverside? Or is he going to play the game that they do of moving around these poor actors that are getting sued, that are liabilities to the campus? In fact, Haynes is such a liability that, and he will be involved in misconduct, that the only reason that Wilcox would be appointing Haynes is because he wants somebody who's going to be violating students' rights, fabricating evidence, interfering with legal processes, misrepresenting the facts. I mean, it's like a psyop. So we have to be very careful here. And so we're calling out to Wilcox to do the right thing. we don't really know whether he's capable of that. I mean, we don't really know this guy because he's got all these accolades about, Brian Haynes at San Bernardino being this great guy he's the visionary, he's the 21st century, this multitude of students. No, this is completely false. I mean, Wilcox has never worked with Haynes. We have. The guy's a liar. He's dishonest. He utilizes subordinate employees to do horrible things, mostly women. Okay? He uses women, which he used in the suspension hearing. He crafted this whole suspension hearing that was completely false. And he suspended me when he was in investigation. He was under an investigation himself. And he suspends me after manufacturing evidence because he had inappropriate discussions with the investigator who was subordinate to him based on a confidential call that I had with the investigator a day before. So here he is, not only failing to investigate formal grievances, he's tampering with an investigation for his failure to investigate those formal grievances, and he's doing it by threatening the investigator. This is what the investigator tells me. And so he then concocts this false evidence that I was violent or something. That they like to use the violence card. Okay? And now Wilcox has to decide whether he's going to take this guy. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the guy, Haynes, is so distorted. He's a narcissist. The guy's an asshole. I mean, unless this guy is the same, there'd be no reason you'd do that. You would protect the integrity of the UC system. You would, particularly when you have this huge minority group of students that are coming in that are first timers. I mean, if you can imagine what it takes to sustain a complaint, to sustain the belittling and their misinformation and failure to return phone calls. I mean, don't forget, President Morales never meets with us. Haynes never meets with us. We're on the campus. We're begging them to meet with us. They won't meet with us. Haynes never shows up at the suspension hearing that he issues. The whole thing was fake. And so this is what you're going to get at UCR. This is your boy. This is who you get. And so the thing is, Wilcox knows about this. The provost knows. They all know this guy is tainted goods. So let's see if they appoint him. I mean, the thing is, it's no skin off my nutsack what they do. But the thing is, it certainly is for you, for any students out there. This guy is bad news. Brian Haynes.